Welcome to another episode of Fair Fitful Podcast. I'm Brandon Ferino. Joined by me is Christian Dyer, my co-host. And we got some special guests in the building. We got Bashar, 49er minded himself. We got
What
our
up?
boy Perry from our own Hive. And we got the one, the only Niner Sickness, 49er Beto. How we doing, fellas?
Wonderful.
Victory Tuesday on Taco Tuesday.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Deon will be joining us shortly. So let's just jump right into it. Last night, Niners came out with a dub, 24-9. Defense played phenomenal. Offense looked good. Let's get your thoughts. Beto.
Man, I'm fired up. The way this defense can be so special if the offense doesn't screw it up. And if Jimmy can just do what he did yesterday, this historically can be probably the best defense the Niners ever had. And I've been watching the 49ers since 78. So I've been watching a lot of defenses. And I'm fired up. One of the areas that we were lacking in was secondary, and we kind of fixed that with Treverius Ward and then the emergence of Mr. Hufanga himself. So I'm excited. I think this game was a statement, and it always is. Wasn't our turnaround kind of started last year also with the Rams on a Monday night after getting our ass kicked by the Cardinals with the backup quarterback? And then we kind of turned it around by beating the Rams. Mm-hmm. I kind of feel that we're heading in the same direction. So we'll see what happens.
Yes, sir. Perry, let's get your thoughts.
Yeah, it was just it was a good solid game from the 49ers. It wasn't anything where I was like, this was like elite. Like Christian and I talked about it a little bit, I think yesterday or today, was that it was a like good, not great type of game. I think for the Niners historically, they haven't lost to they're 7-1. Shanahan is 7-1 against the Rams so far. So ownage is ownage, as Giants broadcasters would say, San Francisco Giants. And yeah, it was just a good win through and through. There wasn't anything I was like, at least on the offensive side, I was like, wow, this is amazing. It was the defense by far. But yeah, Christian and I were talking earlier, and it was just like the Rams was a perfect landing spot for the Niners to get shit right. This was the exact type of game Jimmy Garoppolo needed to where he can kind of reacclimate week 2. Okay, I don't want to get into the BS with Garoppolo, but he got another week of first-team reps, which was needed. He got to learn the playbook more. And the Rams, for him at least, is a very good landing spot. And it was the type of game where we only saw 2 to 3 like Jimmy throws, where we're like, holy fuck. But overall, it was a pretty clean game from Jimmy through and through. There were actually a couple of throws that I was very impressed with by Jimmy. The one that really stood out to me was the Kittle no touchdown. That was one of the best throws I've ever seen from Garoppolo by far. I mean, that was only in the spot that Kittle could catch it. And it's just, I mean, I haven't seen Kittle drop toe drag swag in the end zone, I think, ever. So that was like his first shot to actually do that. But that was really impressive. Overall, it was a great game. Garoppolo did just enough to not lose, and that's exactly what matters. But yeah, Beto said it, man. The defense, holy cow! I mean, at this point, I'm watching them just to watch the defense. Like they're entertaining through and through.
I agree. I totally agree. Bashar, let's get your thoughts.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Deon to be here so we can start bashing Jimmy G. So for now, I'll be nice to him. When you said that you did see some nice throws from Jimmy, I did go back and watch not the replay of the whole game, but some replays here and there, highlights as you say. And he did look. I noticed this during the game actually, and I noticed it a little bit in the highlights too. There were times where he was looking pretty good, where he threw a few nice ones to Jennings, where he stepped in the pocket. And had he did that in the Broncos game, we may have won. So but at the end of the day, I give Jimmy G like a C. But once Deon gets here, we'll kind of elaborate a little bit more on Jimmy, I guess, or at least I will. But at the end of the day, I'll give Jimmy this. He took care of the football. He took care of the football. So I'll just say that.
And Christian, let's get your thoughts.
Well, I'm not really. I don't feel that much different than I did after the Denver loss because, for one, it's the Rams. So, beating the Rams again, that's just we just do what we normally do, beat the Rams. So, it was definitely a winning with Jimmy style of game. Jimmy did enough for us not to lose. He didn't turn the ball over. but also Debo, took the game over, and apparently he's the real freaking owner of the Rams. That guy plays his best game every time we play the Rams, and then the defense obviously keeps us in the game the whole time because they're unbelievable this year. And then they get put some points on the board that gets the game out of hand because the whole time I was nervous because it was a one score game most of the time when the way the defense is playing. It should have been a blowout. So that's why I still have a hard time getting excited. We're dominating the game and it's still a one score game. You can't really get excited about that. So, and I'm I want to see some consistency first before I get excited. But the biggest thing for me on offense is like they need to have more reads to like Jimmy needs to be reading freaking Ayuk more often because he's fucking smoking everybody with his route running. Like nobody's even talked about how his route running is freaking, Devontae Adams good because he never gets the ball fucking thrown to him. I mean, he fucking cooked Ramsey in the end zone for a touchdown and Jimmy missed it and we didn't score on that drive. Like, and you can see it. Like, I mean, we already know that Ayuk doesn't really like Jimmy, but his body language is only getting worse. Like when he freaking cooked Ramsey and Jimmy doesn't throw him the ball, he's literally jumping up and down because he's so pissed off and just runs off the field. Like either Jimmy needs to look for him first, or we need to have more plays called to him because he's fucking open all the fucking time. Like Jimmy always looks to Debo all the time, and Debo's most of the time double covered, and it's like, dude, Ayuk's wide the fuck open, and you never look for him. If he actually starts. If this offense and Jimmy starts actually treating Ayuk like a number one receiver that he is, this offense could probably do a lot even better with the passing game. Like, obviously, I think the running game needs to be better, and I think, me and Anthony were talking earlier, Mitchell needs to come back because he makes this offense so much better because there's holes there in the run game, and you just need that acceleration, the quick hit that Mitchell has to get big gains. So, obviously, I think the passing game is going to be better if we can start running the ball more. But we really got to, actually throw more targets to Ayuk because this is bullshit. He's a number one receiver, and we don't treat him like one. And then, we literally see how many replays per game of him being wide the fuck open and not get the ball thrown to him. As soon as they start treating him like a number one receiver, this offense is going to be, I think, a lot better. I don't know if that's going to happen because it's been 2 straight years we've been saying this and nothing's happened. But that's my biggest takeaway is you want to win games and have an offense that can match the defense. They need to freaking start treating Ayuk like a number one receiver.
Yeah, I agree. I just want to say what's up to Aaron for 49er First Takes. He's in the chat. Me and Beto and I collaborate with him every Monday. So really good dude. Awesome dude.
So what's going on, Aaron? Always watch shows too. So my next question is, guys, like Christian said, we did see Ayuk open a couple times. He was killing Ramsey all over the field, honestly. I mean, you watch him. I mean, even that on that Debo drive where he scored that touchdown, they were getting into it a little bit too. That was great. But my next take is somebody brought it up in the chat. Javon Kinlaw. Are we worried about Kinlaw? Or should we move on from him? You think he's a bust? Perry, we'll start with you first.
Playing that.
What's funny is that if the defensive line wasn't as good as it was, I'd be like, this is freaking terrible. But honestly, I didn't even think about Kinlaw missing that game at all. Because quite frankly, Kevin Gibbons has been outplaying him by a lot. Gibbons was so good. And Christian, Brandon, before you guys joined Hive, when Gibbons got brought in, I told the guys, I was like, Gibbons is going to be really good. And he just never got a shot because he's behind DJ Jones. And then Gibbons had that weird offseason stuff that happened when he ran into some troubles with someone, but he's getting his shot. And I think he took it away from Kinlaw. Now, the problem with it is that Kinlaw is a first round pick. He will get his playing time. So unfortunately for Gibbons, when Kinlaw comes back, I'm sure his snaps will go down a bit. But I think Gibbons just proved that he's just a dynamic and very unique player. And he plays just like DJ Jones. I don't think he's as quick as Jones, but I think at the point of attack, especially at the nose tackle position, Gibbons is very dominant. But just back to the point, man, I think the Kinlaw thing does suck. You don't want to see that happen to him. I mean, look what happens historically when the Niners bring in guys, even before Lynch came in. Beto, all of you guys can attest to this. When they draft guys with underlying issues and conditions and ACLs and knee issues and leg issues and lower body. And it's one thing to have a lower body issue, but to be that size and that monumental and have leg issues, you're talking about real issues down the road. And it's already seen with durability. It's just very lucky that the Niners have one of the best defensive lines in the NFL at the moment. But it does suck. But I think right now, the defensive line is the least of the concerns. So I think it's another one of those first round picks by Lynch when you're like, what the fuck, because now it's just Solomon Thomas, Reuben Foster, Javon Kinlaw. And I'm even going to throw Trey Lance in there too, just because the front office doesn't know how to handle Lance apparently. So overall, it's really frustrating to see first round pick after first round pick just go down with some type of thing. But if he needs like a month to rest, that's fine because the rotation will step right up.
What's up, Deon?
What up, Deon?
What's good?
We're waiting for you so we can trash Jimmy G.
Yeah, man. I really am not about to trash the guy.
Yeah, there you go.
That's not what I'm gonna do. Hey, he didn't screw it up, and that's all we can ask of him. Everybody here on this panel knows and understands. That's just all we can ask. We're not gonna ask for him to be a world beater. We're not gonna ask for him to go out and be Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers in their prime. That's what we're not gonna do. We're just gonna say, hey, thanks for not fucking it up. Appreciate it. Continue to do that. I mean, it's crazy because when you look at it, he just did what he needed to do.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he screwed up because he missed several wide open people, and there's at least probably 21 points left out there on the field. To be flat out honest, there really is. But the defense held up. Only gave up 3 field goals. Gotta love that. Talanoa Hufanga is a fucking superstar. Anybody who denies that is just obviously blind, deaf, dumb, and stupid. And honestly, when I came in, Perry, I gotta agree with your sentiments to an extent, man. I know Kinlaw doesn't like people talking about him, and he gets very upset and whatnot. But bro, we've been dealing with this shit since you've been here, man. Don't act like we not supposed to talk about it. At the end of the day, bro, you got knee issues. And this is something that will be brought up in many different circles, and it has to be addressed. And you thought you had it addressed. Everything was fine. And it seems like we're back to square one. So it's a little unfortunate, but yeah, that's definitely true right there, throwback. They are the highest graded. And here's the good problem to have. Jimmy Ward's eligible to come back. Jason Verrett is now eligible to play.
Verrett.
So do I really want to just put Mooney out there with Jason Verrett on the other side and scare the shit out of defenses and slide Mosley into the slot because I feel like it?
Ward can play in the slot too. He did in college.
Mooney?
No.
Jimmy?
Jimmy can
Ward.
play in the slot.
Yeah, but the thing is, you leave Jimmy alone. Let him stay. Don't put him in the slot.
I'm just saying because Taj Gibson's playing unbelievably right
So
now.
Richard Sherman thinks that if and when Ward comes back, Ward will play nickel. He'll be either the nickel safety or corner.
Yeah.
So he'll take over for Lenore or Womack, however they decide to play that. So I think there's definitely a reason for there to be all 3 safeties on the field. Hands down.
Hey, man, and the embarrassment of riches that we have, and the only thing is we can't count on Jimmy Ward to be getting us no damn turnovers. He don't intercept the ball. Like, I think he's had his max in 1 year is 2 picks. So
that's why we have Hufanga, brother.
He's becoming a ball hawk, Hufanga.
Talanoa Hufanga.
That dude right there is amazing.
Deon, let me get your thoughts on this play right here. I'm gonna share it real quick. Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
It just seems like Jimmy was only throwing to either Juice, Kittle, or Debo. Like a little bit of Ayuk in the beginning, right? but then he kind of started going away from Ayuk. This is the play where he literally breaks Jalen's ankles, like wide open in the end zone, dude.
Mhm.
Easy
And
touchdown.
what do you see from Brandon Ayuk on that? He's upset.
Yeah, he's frustrated.
You can tell he's frustrated. I just broke one of the best defensive backs in the game today. I just broke his damn ankles. But yet and still, you literally, and on that play that you're speaking in reference to, he stared Kittle down. He was not going anywhere but to George. Everyone knows that. Everyone saw that. Now, don't get me wrong. If George gets that other foot in, that is a great catch. And the degree of difficulty, yes, it's definitely a lot higher. But when you have a gimme touchdown like that, why pass it up? And I'm sorry, if I know Brandon Ayuk is on the goal line, he's going up against Ramsey, and I know Ramsey's been getting cooked most of the night. Fuck, I'm finna target Ramsey ass all night because Ramsey is one of those players. When he gets frustrated, his game gets thrown off. Mm-hmm. He doesn't know how to work through the frustration to get to where he needs to go.
But how Niners football is it to have a number one receiver and make him not look like one?
I mean, it's Kyle Shanahan. We're not there in the film rooms, but I'm hoping and praying that Kyle Shanahan at points in times is just scolding Jimmy G. Like, don't you see these guys wide open? Especially like Ayuk and especially when Debo the previous week was throwing his arm up. It's like, I don't know if is his vision that bad where he just doesn't see his peripheral vision is that terrible where he doesn't see these people. I mean, I don't get it. I mean, people threw out the idea out there that, oh wow, maybe we lose Brandon Ayuk because of this. It's like and they said that he was the most dominant player in training camp, and here we are. We're not even. He's barely getting the ball. I mean, is he going to wait and stick around and have hope that Trey Lance finally gets his real opportunity, and then everything's fine and dandy from here on out? Who knows, man?
Yeah, that's the whole point of it. Trey Lance is the reason that Ayuk was getting all of that praise, and he was feeling like this is my breakout year. And the minute Trey Lance goes down, like just as me and Christian's heart sank into the ground along with a lot of other 49er fans.
Mine too.
He literally, it happened. And first takes, oh my God, this is perfect. Does Kyle even address Jimmy missing reads, or is it a lost cause and Jimmy doesn't care? Let me tell you this. There's a combination of both. What's going on, Tanya? There's a combination of both. Jimmy misses the read altogether, and he'll swear to God, he'll go up there to that podium and be like, I'd have done the same exact play. I would have thrown the same throw. But then Kyle goes over there and kisses his ass in the national media. You got the perfect example of this. Your plays suck. Everybody remember that? Remember seeing that? Remember reading lips? Everybody's like, oh, we need to get a professional lip reader. No, motherfucker, you don't. He said your plays suck. That's what the fuck he said. And you see how Kyle and Jimmy just danced all around it? Well, just, I say a lot during the course of the games. I didn't know they catch that. And
I said plenty of worse things before.
Yeah, last night in the post-game presser, then they swore up and down. They caught him saying, your plays are great, or your play is good, or something like that. So it's like, bro, look, at the end of the day, man, I don't think that he really truthfully holds Jimmy accountable. I feel like Jimmy has leeway to do whatever the fuck he pleases. And yeah, that's horrible that he missed Ayuk on that, but he missed. That's why I said he left at least 21 points on the fucking field.
The thing is, if you actually pay attention, he never looks comfortable in the pocket. It's like a couple of times I've seen it look like he was seeing ghosts at time in the pocket. I think because of that, he tends to stare down the guys he's comfortable, whether it's Kittle, Debo, Juice, and Ayuk kind of gets left out of that. So I don't know how many times this year and last year, and we're going to see further in the season that Ayuk's going to be wide open. Jimmy's not even going to look his way. That's just how I see it. I see him as, he not comfortable in the pocket, acts like he's seeing ghosts sometimes, and he sticks with the guys he's comfortable with, and he'll stare him down. And luckily those guys that he is staring down are open and can make plays. But I don't
Deon, you want to know what I just brought it up right before you came in, but one first things first, I don't trust Jimmy to make that throw to Ayuk. That's either picked or out of bounds. And Jimmy, I rewatched the replay. Jimmy would have had to step into that throw because he doesn't have the arm to make that far throw. He doesn't. I don't trust him to make that.
That's a great point, Perry.
Secondly, I was saying it. The most frustrating thing about Jimmy is that throw to Kittle, Deon, was a really good throw.
It was.
That was a really good throw. Jimmy will run into one every now and then, of course. But it's that kind of thing where it's like Jimmy's just overall decision making is so odd. It blows my mind. I mean, he has Debo and Kittle as security blankets, but to go and make like essentially a double covered throw on Kittle, but only to place it in a spot where he can catch it. It was just like the Debo touchdown catch where Peyton on his broadcast was like, Jimmy either threw a high on purpose or he got really lucky because the ball should have been picked. Yep. But he only put it in a spot where Debo can catch it. So it's like, you know.
You read that? The comment?
Barry, I was laughing at the comment, bro.
Me too. I saw that. What's up? Aaron, yeah, we've been talking about that.
That's the thing. There's no use for Danny Gray, but yeah, we all know what it is with Jimmy. I mean, he missed that seam route throw to use check. He technically did miss the Ayuk touchdown, and there's lots of throws that Jimmy leaves on the field. Deon, you said there was at least 21 points the offense could have scored.
Yes.
I would say, though, what's more frustrating still that only one person on Twitter who brought it up, of course, is Grant Cohn, is that the Niners' offense in the second half, once again, damn near late. They only scored 3 points. Yeah. And I don't remember if the Robbie Gould miss was in the second half as well. I could be wrong.
It was.
So that's just more missed points. So you can kind of get away with it now because the Rams, I don't think, are that good. Like, they're still a playoff team, but they're not elite yet. And the Rams.
Nobody's elite, though.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but overall, it's just once again, it's another story where the offense just failed in the second half. And even if the defense is dominating, I don't care. It's still a lot of pressure on the defense. And right before when Gold missed the field goal, it was 17-9. It was like, oh my god, like is this going to be the one touchdown drive where the Rams are just going to piss us off? You know, So it's that kind of thing where it's like Christian's very critical of Kyle Shanahan, and rightfully so. It's like, dude, like you need this killer instinct. John Middlecoff talks about it a lot. Get the ball in your players' best hands. Shanahan finally did that more in this game compared to the last game, but still, it just seems like there's no killer instinct amongst anyone right now. Debo had that insane touchdown run. Don't get me wrong, but there's been yet a moment so far when we've seen like, okay, this is the icing on the cake for the game from the offense. This is that final drive, nail in the coffin. Let's shut that shit down, you know.
And you know what's weird, really quick?
Go ahead.
Jimmy's actually pretty good at the quarterback sneak, and he's done it before on the 1 yard line. So why not tell him to do it now?
It's his only elite trait.
Like he's actually okay. He's actually pretty good at that. So if you just tell your hogs on the line, then hey, look, guys, we're going for the quarterback sneak. All I need you to do, Brendel, just hike the ball and give me a good push. And if anything, you know, jump over, do whatever the fuck you got to do. But
was that
that fourth down, he should have been able to.
No borders.
The Ayuk miss, was that the same drive that the Niners didn't QB sneak? That was the one Jeff Wilson got stood up on. When you checked him.
I think so. I'm not 100% sure.
See, like I was very surprised to see the QB sneak not called, and the Rams were pinching the line very hard. And still, we've all seen Jimmy score on that before. So it's just another one of those things that Shanahan's play calling in the end zone, even if Jimmy missed Ayuk, still just blows my mind. And like the creativity just goes away entirely.
What honestly blows my mind is, you know, even when you go back to like Jimmy's mouthing your play calls suck or whatever, it does sometimes at times feel like Kyle's just calling his own offense, and he doesn't completely mold it to Jimmy, because the way I look at it from watching this last game, we should just have a quick get the ball out as quick as possible, as much as possible in every game, because when Jimmy was getting the ball out fast and throwing slants and throwing quick throws, he was actually really freaking good, and we were moving the ball. Like, we don't need as many deeper 15-yard, 20-yard throws from Jimmy. The quicker the throw, the quick release, the stuff Brady did when he was at his best. Not that I'm comparing. I'm just saying, like, if you have that kind of offense where if it's just made for Jimmy to get it, especially when they're stacking the box. That's when Jimmy should be able to be at his best, is get the ball out fast because they're stacking the box. But it seems like Kyle just wants to run it his way, and I'm just wondering if we just did what Jimmy was good at, which is getting the ball out quick, we could have an offense that could really put up points if it was more molded to the fact that that's the one thing Jimmy's good at, is getting the ball out quick, and he makes decently accurate throws, getting the ball out fast on the slants and whatnot. And we have playmakers that can make stuff happen with the ball in their hands. So is all this extra stuff Kyle wants to do and throwing it 15 yards over the middle, whatever, like, do that sometimes. But if we were able to mold the defense to what Jimmy actually is not terrible at, the offense would look more fluid and look better. I could be wrong, but I always feel like Kyle's like, this is my offense, this is how we're going to do it. And he doesn't want to, like, okay, this is my quarterback, so I'm going to completely adjust it to that.
Yeah, we all understand Kyle is an egomaniac, and we all believe that. But what I want to roundtable something really quick, and I'm going to start with Beto really quick. Is George Kittle overpaid? Because I feel like we paying him a lot of fucking money, and we ain't using him nowhere near what he's getting paid for. Travis Kelce is out there trying to catch football and catch touchdowns and move the sticks. Yeah. George Kittle has been relegated to becoming a blocker for 2 years. This is well into his contract. I am sorry. This is nothing against George Kittle. I think he is the best all-around tight end in the league, period. There is no other tight end that's better than him. But his time is being wasted by Kyle Shanahan not scheming him into the game plan. George literally has been subjected to becoming a blocker. I personally feel that he is now overpaid. Yep. And he should go back to the negotiating table and say, sorry, George, if you want your money, talk to that guy. But Beto, I want to go Beto, then I want to go Bashar, because I want to roundtable this. Beto, is George Kittle overpaid?
Yeah, you took the words out right out of my mouth. Kittle, at this point, it's an overpaid blocker. And it's like you said, it's no fault of his own. I mean, that's Kyle just not utilizing his skill set other than blocking. And we know he's a great blocker, but you got to scheme him in your play calling and allow him to make some plays. He's, in my opinion, Kyle is not confident in his O-line right now, especially now losing Trent, really. And now that we lost McKivitz for 2 months, Kittle's receiving just poof, like a fart in the wind. It's gone. He's going to be mainly right behind Jalen Lamore and helping block. So, yeah, I'm with you, bro. I'm sorry. We need to renegotiate his contract and use it somewhere else, because we're overpaying for unfortunately a tight end that is not utilized the way he should be. You can't be paying that much money just to be a blocker.
Yeah, Bashar.
Yeah, I'm really a big George Kittle guy. Obviously, talent-wise, in my opinion, he is up there with the top tight ends in the league. I mean, Kelce does have the advantage in terms of playing with Patrick Mahomes, and it just sucks because our O-line is struggling to be healthy. It's as inexperienced as possibly can be, but they found a way to get it done last night. I get it, but I went back and watched a lot of the highlights, and they did throw Kittle in there a whole lot to help out, and the situation is very unfortunate. But even then, though, I just think that we can, I guess we tried on that one end zone play to get him involved, but more so just within the parameters of the game, just try to find him, try to get the ball. It just sucks. Right now he is overpaid. I mean, there is value to his blocking, though, at the same time. I mean, on that Debo play, he took out like 2 guys or something like that. And on a few plays downfield, he was taking out guys. It wasn't just his in-line blocking. His down-the-field blocking was really, really nice, too. And I'm a former offensive lineman. I played O-line in high school, so I share that same passion that Kittle has in terms of blocking, and I love seeing it. But at the same time, this guy's amazing with the run-after-the-catch ability at the tight end position. And, if we had a gunslinger at quarterback, we'd see him in the end zone a whole lot more, and we're not seeing it, and we should see it, especially with the money that we're paying him.
There you go. Christian.
I mean, I think he's not fully healthy from his injury. I kind of watch him, each play, and so there's times he looks like he's not fully healthy. So I think that could be part of it. I also think because the kind of player and the kind of guy Kittle is, he's not a selfish player, so he doesn't care how many targets he gets. He just is out there having fun, and because of that he's that kind of guy. He's not your top playmaker that you're going to force the ball to. Where even if it's going bad for Kansas City, they're going to force the ball to Kelsey, regardless. We don't have to do that. We don't do that with Kittle, so that kind of hinders things. And then I just, him coming back from injury, if we get 100% healthy Kittle, things might change too. Like I know, I'm almost positive Kyle's purposely not calling stuff for Kittle because he's not 100% healthy, and Kyle doesn't want to lose him for the whole season by doing that. So that's what I think. I think it's hard to tell now because unless you're going to just go off that he can't stay healthy, that he might not be worth the money. But I think hopefully if he stays and gets healthy and things go on, we'll see it more because he is kind of like a security blanket for Jimmy. But even Jimmy's not throwing him the ball too much because he's hurt. So I think if he starts to get more healthy and he's practicing every day and looks better, I think we'll see more as time goes on. But you're not going to see it as much as you want anyway because he doesn't go and ask for the ball and say, throw me the ball. He's not selfish that way. So even though he is a playmaker, he'll make the plays when he does get the ball, but he doesn't care. Like, I think he's just as happy knocking a guy on his ass as he is catching a ball and taking it for 30 yards.
This is facts because we all remember the scene that they caught him from that aerial cam when he basically bull rushed that fucking DB and took him all the way into the end zone. We were playing the Falcons a couple years ago, and they caught him just dying laughing as he did it. Like, and that's what we all appreciate about George is his willingness to block and his unselfishness. But I'm not going to skip over anyone. Brandon, how you feel about this? We're going to give Perry the last word on this one, man.
Perry.
You sitting here on mute, bro.
My mic's muted.
do we need Matt in here for the Hive?
Shit.
Right.
So, anyways, I agree too. I think at this point, Kittle is overpaid. This tends to happen with players as well. As soon as they get paid, they don't perform what they got paid. So
outside of Mitch Wisnowski.
Yeah, except for Mitch. Such big money Mitch.
Perfect example, though. Like I was saying, when Kittle was forced the ball with the backup quarterbacks, he was doing better. We're not forcing him the ball anymore.
Yeah, no, that's true.
I think that's the biggest difference.
That's true. I think, but I also want to say, I think we should just give him time. It is his second game back. I think he will start getting the ball more as the season goes. And I mean, shit, it's Jimmy's second week back too, starting at quarterback and everything too. So Jimmy loved throwing the ball to George. So we're just gonna have to see throughout the season, and go from there. But I mean,
damn, bro, that's a little harsh, man. He's saying the wife.
Damn. That's shots taken at Claire.
Hey, he's been with her since college, so that ain't fair.
Yeah.
I'm about to say, damn, bro, he just shitted on the real hard. Jukebox, first time I seen you, man. Appreciate you stopping by. Definitely hit the like and subscribe button. He said y'all shutting down Matt Stafford won me my fantasy week 1. Hey, look, we are here to shut down quarterbacks, and the next 2 quarterbacks that we face are just in for a rude awakening. If we sacked Matthew Stafford 7 times, I'm going to tell you right now, Marcus Mariota and Baker Mayfield are going to die. But Brandon, were you finished with your point? My bad. I didn't mean to interrupt. I just felt that and I felt bad. I'm like, damn, bro, I'm blaming his wife, man. Like, I don't think that's an issue.
Okay. So I'm going to be the bubble burster for all of you guys. There's one point that I've strongly disagreed with and one point that I've heavily agreed with. Start with the one I agree with. Shanahan needs to get Kittle involved more. Bottom line. And it's not even just about him running routes. It's designing ways to get him open, creative ways to get him open. Look at Andy Reid with Tyreek Hill. I'm not trying to compare the two, But Andy Reid found every single way to get Tyreek Hill open. Every single way. Not just from route running and catching the ball, but even being a running back, running screenplays, whatever it may be. Andy Reid found ways to get Hill open, and now Kelsey is just single-handedly dominating with the ball in his hand, so that doesn't even matter. But you see his head coaches, and they just dominate at getting their best playmakers to do something. That's what Shanahan needs to do with Kittle. Kittle's running routes. He is out there running routes. I can promise you guys that. But for whatever reason, it's Jimmy's just not liking what he sees with Kittle. Defenses are bracketing him a lot, which they did a lot in 2019, and when he's healthy in general, or just the play call doesn't call for Kittle. And one of you guys talked about it earlier, but Chris Sims on this podcast a couple of years ago said these very specific words. He said that Shanahan's offense is designed to be as if he was the quarterback and this is what he would do. That is exactly how it's designed. He's the mastermind. He is the controller of the robot. He wants the entire offense to be one functioning robot. The only problem is that the head is Jimmy Garoppolo and that shit doesn't have a brain. So, of course, it's not going to fully operate to its best extent.
Don't hate on Jimmy.
No, Jimmy, I'm sorry. He had a good game. Leave him alone. No. So this leads into my second thing, which I have to disagree with all of you guys on. Kittle only pass blocked 3 times last night. 3 times. And he ran 24 routes. That was it. It's not that many routes, don't get me wrong. So he didn't play a fair amount of snaps. But he only pass blocked 3 times. And that was from PFL and Mayoko. So I wanted to refute that a little because he is going out there running routes. Jimmy is genuinely missing him or not hitting him. Or if he is, it's a very short check down. Because the thing I think we don't see when the play fully plays out, George Kittle does a lot of chips, checks, and releases. So he'll block for a second and then run a route. And Jimmy's not going to have time to get that throw off because you're asking for something that takes longer than 4 seconds when Jimmy is supposed to release it in less than 3. So Kittle's routes are being ran, but they're not being fully developed.
But like you said, he is bracketed a lot. I think he
is bracketed.
He gets a lot of attention.
Oh, he draws a ton
our
of
other guys.
And the problem with that is that by the time Kittle checks and releases, his route's in the middle of the field. So linebackers and safeties playing the buzz are going to crash on him. So that's why we see the seam open all the time because safeties are coming down for Kittle. But with that in mind, that's where I kind of have frustrations with Shanahan, where it's like, okay, you don't have him pass blocking that much. He's chipping a lot. That's good. But he's still running routes, and they're technically long developing routes. So you're asking for Kittle to go 100% on his route just to get open for about 5 to 10 yards. I don't think that should be Kittle's usage. Before he was blocking, think why Kittle over the middle was a big staple. Because Kittle was able to get open and run routes properly and be able to let things develop.
He needs to line up in the slot more.
Kittle's already 15 yards downfield. But now you're asking him to get maybe 10 yards downfield after 4 seconds. There's just no time for that to develop. So Jimmy doesn't have time to hit Kittle. So that's where I'm in the middle, guys. He is pass blocking, not as much as we see. But at the same time, Shanahan isn't giving Kittle the chance to actually go and run a route. And then by the time he does go and run a route that's not a check and release, Garoppolo either misses him or he's not going to find him. So it's really frustrating to say the least. I do think he's a bit overpaid as it stands right now because he's being paid to be the best tight end, not the best decoy, which essentially I think is what it falls under.
Kyle needs to line him up in the slot more the same way Kansas City lines up.
If Kittle was in the slot and you had him lined up against a linebacker or a safety,
he's going to kill
him just like Kelsey.
But we don't use him that way. That's the problem.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. So here's my my next question to the panel here. Who is your favorite player from last night's game?
Jeff Wilson Jr. I'm just going to say right now, Jeff Wilson Jr. Christian.
Okay.
So
Jeff.
You don't have to listen to me.
Okay. Beto.
El Jefe.
Kevin Givens for me.
Bashar.
I think his Instagram handle is Banks of America, Aaron Banks. He looked really nice yesterday.
Okay. Lefty.
Jackson. He's looking good.
Drake. Okay.
Drake Jackson.
He
I'm
had
big Drake Jackson.
one and a half sacks or something last night.
I
did
did
one
not
and a half?
realize
Did he?
how big.
And he had that tip. Yesterday was
No,
nice.
hey, look,
Tip was
Jackson.
beautiful.
Jackson yesterday, that sack that Ebucom basically snatched from him. If Ebucom misses and over pursues,
That's
Jackson's
2
right there to clean it up. What I see from Drake Jackson, just really quick, is Drake Jackson is too fast.
Dude,
Like,
but
his speed getting to the quarterback is super intense. When he gets to a point where he is ready to be on the field and be a 3-down defensive end, that combination of Drake Jackson and Nick Bosa is going to be a nightmare for offensive line. But Brandon, really quick, who was your guy?
I'm taking your guy, dude.
God damn it! I knew you were going to do it. I knew he was.
Hufanga, baby.
Hey, let me tell you this, bro. You gotta throw them tees up, bro. Talanoa Hufanga is the best safety in the fucking league right now. There's not even a question. Literally, there's not a question about it. Talanoa Hufanga is so damn good that you can do anything with him. Like, and the way they're using him was exactly the way I envisioned him being used, because this maximizes on his skill set. And it only makes it, hey, what's going on, David? It only makes it even worse when, the kid goes in the offseason and trades with Troy fucking Polamalu. Like, can it get any better?
Dude, when that hair's flowing and he's running, it looks just
I almost swear it's Polamalu on the field.
And the way he
just
jumps
like
around,
him, dude.
the way he jumps around, like Palomalo.
It's insane how close these two resemble each other. Go ahead, Bashar.
I'm still mad because I argued about 3 or 4 49er fans who would always tell me I was stupid for mentioning Troy Polamalu's name when we drafted Talanoa Hufanga, and he's never going to be anything like him. It doesn't matter if he trained him or mentored him. And it's like, well, are you watching him now? How's Talanoa Hufanga look now?
Look, man, Huff is
He's huffing.
Huff reminds me, you know what Huff is?
Huffing and puffing.
Talanoa Hufanga is niggas in Paris. Boss, all motherfuckers want to find me. First niggas got to find me. What's 50 grand to a motherfucker like me? Will you please remind me? Like, that's literally Huff. He balls so hard, you motherfuckers can't do nothing about it. And it's progressing every single game.
Did you guys see how
that meme is facts?
After you talk about this meme, I'll mention something about Hufanga. Go ahead.
That meme is straight facts, bro. Because the beauty of it is this meme literally embodies the transformation of Talanoa Hufanga. And the reason being is because when you look at it, right now, Troy Polamalu is your basic Spider-Man. He's Peter Parker. Why? Because he doesn't do that anymore. But he's passed the mantle on to Talanoa Hufanga, who has now become Spidey on the field. This is just perfect. I don't think there's anything better than this, man. Like, it's fucking fantastic. I love every second of it, man. Like, that jersey, I will purchase a Hufanga.
That's what I was saying.
Everybody wants a Hufanga jersey now.
Like, this,
The red throwback.
and I'm telling you, man, like, the love that he has for his culture, his people. Mm-hmm. And the cool thing is, Troy Polamalu is not only teaching this young man football, he is teaching him life skills. Mm-hmm. And that's more invaluable than anything. So it's like, yo, man, you can go out on that field and ball and hit and do everything, but at the end of the day, you still got to be a man. You still have things you got to take care of at home. You have a family. Like, all of these things come into play. And what does that tie back into? The Polynesian culture and how they love their people and how they get real tight and real close-knit with them, man. I grew up with a bunch of cats that was Samoan and Polynesian. And these dudes, when I tell you their families are close-knit, I'm talking about super close-knit, bro. Like, you can't separate these cats. And you know who the fuck they are because they all, 90% of them big as hell. You know what I'm saying? But one thing I will tell you is going to a Polynesian household is just like going into a Latin household, baby. Guaranteed you won't starve.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I was gonna say is all the people who were like very skeptical about Hufanga and being slow when he ran a 4.6 whatever 40. I think they clocked him at 21 miles an hour yesterday or something like that. Like, he looks super fast on that INT, dude.
And he jokingly said, "I was worried Stafford was gonna catch me."
Yeah, I don't know why he even said that.
I don't know why, bro.
He even said he jumped it so fast that he almost thought he was going to drop that ball because he read it so fast. It's just his instinct to read.
The way it was, I was waiting for it to go flip over his head.
Yeah.
Because
So
he
I
jumped
wanna
the
have to
second too
ask
much,
you.
too fast. Yeah, but he
I
could.
gotta ask Beto because you're the old head in here.
Okay.
So I gotta ask. Jaquiski Tartt in his career with the Niners, 4 picks. Hufanga already has 2 as a starter. I mean, he's already catching up to Tartt. So I gotta ask you, in your history watching the Niners, who was the last closest playmaking safety to Hufanga that you can think of? Like genuinely someone who's just playmaking.
I would say David Wilkerman. Last I'm trying to think of his last name. Help me, Bashar. He was a safety for the Niners in 85, 84. I'm not going to put him anywhere near the Ronnie Lott category. We can even go a little bit of Mr. Chicken Dance.
Merton Hanks.
Martin Hanks, man.
But the first guy you mentioned, do you mean Dwight Hicks? Was that who you're talking about?
No. Wilkerson, I believe is his last name.
Wilkerson, I don't remember him.
I gotta look it up. But also, what's his name? McDonald, the guy that came from
Tim McDonald.
Tim
from the
McDonald.
Cardinals.
I remember a little bit of it. Yeah. So coming from the old school, watching these old safeties, bro. I like what this. Also, there was a cat that didn't play for the Niners, but he was a safety. And let me see if Bashar remembers, or any of you guys know your players from other teams. He played for the Broncos. He was a great safety
With
for the
Dennis
Broncos.
Smith?
No. Anybody?
See that water?
Real
Yeah.
quick, it was Dwight Hicks, 85 list. Dwight
Yeah, I
Hicks.
was thinking about
Dwight
yeah,
Hicks.
Dwight Hicks.
yeah.
Okay, Dwight Hicks. Then.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Outwater. Yeah. So he
See
kind
that
of
water. He
went
could
Outwater,
hit. He could hit.
So, yeah. There you go. Carlton Williamson.
Carlton
That's
Williamson
the
might
one.
be who you're thinking about. Yeah.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking of. And I like this play. So, but I know it's an early window with Hufanga, and it's still only 4 games in. But what he's shown so far, and the way he jumps those routes, and he's so smart. The way he envisions it happening. This kid is special, man. I can't wait to see you at the end of the year where he's at.
I wanted to.
Speaking of Hufanga, real quick, Christian, I'll let you go ahead, and then I have something to play that Jerry Rice said about Hufanga.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead, Christian.
I just wanted to say, because we're still talking about Drake Jackson. If you notice, every time he runs that stunt, it's a sack. Like with the one sack he got on his own, where we run that stunt, where he comes from the edge and through the middle. When that middle's open, he goes through it so fucking fast. And that one sack, he fucking ate fucking Stafford alive, dude. How fast he came through that hole. Like every time he's ran that stunt, I think he's had a sack. Like his speed is so fucking valuable on that, especially on that stunt. It's fucking
I said it
insane.
already.
You talking about that Bosa play?
No, the one where freaking Jackson got that sack where he comes around and he came right straight through. I think it was in the 3rd or 4th quarter. That
Yeah, when he came
sack.
around. Yeah.
Dude,
Go
it
He's
was
ahead,
fucking
him and Nick
insane.
Bosa when he's at his top level, playing with the way once he gets his feet underneath him, Jackson and next to Bosa, man, these guys are going to terrorize.
Drake Jackson
His
is so
speed.
big. I cannot.
His speed, though, is insane.
Pausing. I'm gonna pause. Drake Jackson is huge.
Yes.
That's
Like,
And he's smart.
I swear, every time,
we know exactly.
every time I see him freaking come running through that stunt, and I see him run, I'm like, holy fuck, that guy's so fast.
Somebody that big shouldn't be that fast. Like that's
He's so
honestly
fucking
what it is.
fast.
But what you got, Brian?
Christian and I talked about a little on draft day. It's those USC guys, man. They get underutilized like crazy. I mean, at one point, USC had Drake London, Michael Pittman, and there's one more guy I'm missing. They have the talent. Clay Helton is just terrible. And I mean, even Brian Baldinger said that Drake Jackson was a 1st-round pick, and he only fell to 2nd because of USC.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is that it's weird how SC winds up under or should I say underutilizing these players. And look at this motherfucker. What's up, Tommy?
What's up, Tommy?
Crazy bastard.
Tommy Huxley.
The crazy thing about it is the reason that SC does that is because they have so much talent behind these motherfuckers. Like literally, you could go to SC. Like Matt Castle never played a down at USC ever. He saw the field from the sidelines and he got drafted because he went to SC. Like that's literally how it is, man. Like they are a NFL, product factory when it comes to that, man. And it's the craziest shit ever. But this right here, Jerry Rice saying that he's a playmaker, he's going to cause a lot of havoc. Like these are obvious things that we see and we love. And To be honest with you, I have to agree. I forgot who said it, but putting Jimmy Ward in the slot might not be such a bad idea because of Gibson and Hufanga's connection that they built. You don't really want to mess with something. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But I will say this. That meme with Debo, oh God, that shit is hilarious. Like if you find that one, Brady, you gotta play that one.
All right,
Like
I'll play this one
trolled,
first, and then
he trolled Jalen Ramsey. And another thing, man. Now this is probably one of the very few times I have to say that I like Mike McGlinchey. What's going on, Mariah? But McGlinchey actually made me feel like he was a little bit of a good.
I like that, Deon McClinchy. Yeah,
you see that? He ran right up to Jalen Ramsey, tapped him on the shoulder. It was like, hey, you see that? You just allowed that dumb fuck.
Yep.
Oh,
that's because Ramsey's such a punk. Like when they were fighting and stuff, Peyton Manning went on his cast. He's like, oh, it's Ramsey. It's always Ramsey.
I saw that.
That's what Peyton said. He's like, it's always Ramsey.
All right, so this is another question I will pose to you. With this win and the next two games that we have coming up, we can walk in Kansas City 4-2. Now, my question is, and this is a tough one. This is the unfortunate rematch of the Super Bowl that we don't want to be a rematch. And I'm going to start with you, Brandon, and we'll go back around. Do you feel if we walk in there 4-2 with our heads held high, man, and we're playing good football, this defense is balling the way that it has been, do you feel like we might be able to beat Kansas City?
Yeah, I do. The only reason why I say that as well, too, is because the sorry-ass Colts beat the Kansas City Chiefs. So, I mean, the Colts are freaking not that great this year. So that should tell you something right there. They have I don't know. I just think, especially with how dominant our defense is right now compared to 2019, I think we could easily get Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs.
Harry?
Yeah, so this will be my last comment because unfortunately I have to head out, guys.
All good.
But yeah, I think so. What's funny is watching the Chiefs game so far, they're scoring a lot of points, but man, it feels like it's just Mahomes cooking and Kelsey, and that's it. I think the Niners are in a much better position now that they don't have Tyreek Hill. Like, genuinely, I think the Niners defense is better prepared for Mahomes. I think they have defensive linemen that can actually get after him. And I think we're going to see either a lot of Hufanga and Warner quarterback spying or them blitzing off the edges just to try and get Mahomes to get out of the pocket or do something. Because we've seen it throughout Mahomes' entire career. The guy throws a ton of pick-worthy balls. The fact that he doesn't have twice as many picks blows my mind. It was like that in the Super Bowl, too. We should have 4 picks. Easily 4 picks. So with that in mind, yeah, absolutely. I think the Niners are more than capable to take on Mahomes. It's just, I know I have to go, so I won't be able to hear it, but I feel like Christian's going to say it. It's the Garoppolo effect at the end of the day, man. It's how is Garoppolo going to play? Because Garoppolo is not going to keep up with Mahomes offensively. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, God, no. We definitely don't expect that.
We know that. So it's just, can they either force turnovers or can someone make a play? Otherwise, yeah, I feel much more confident about this than the Super Bowl team, weirdly.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So before we move on to Bethel, Bashar, and Christian, and you, Deon, I'm going to go ahead and play the MyBookie ad real quick and thank our sponsor real fast. So we'll hand over the mic to Zach real quick.
Yo, Zach.
What's going on, guys? Zach here from 49ers Hive, and I just wanted to take a second to thank today's sponsor, MyBookie. You know football, and you pick winners every single weekend, so why not get paid for them at MyBookie? You could bet single game spreads, money lines, or parlay multiple together to increase your payouts. The feeling on Sunday when a 3, 4, 5, 6 game parlay hits is unmatched. There are low contest entry fees and over $500,000 to be won, so make it so you don't have to be a pro gambler to have some fun. Getting started is super simple. All you got to do is go to mybookie.ag and use our promo code HIVE, as in 49ers Hive, on your first deposit to secure a double deposit bonus. You deposit $50, they'll match you $50. You deposit $100, they'll match you $100, all the way up to $1,000. Take advantage of our double deposit bonus. It's right here on the screen. mybookie.ag, promo code HIVE, as in 49ers Hive. Take advantage now, guys, and make this your winning season exclusively at MyBookie.
I'm not a gambler, but after seeing that, I might sign up.
I hear you. Yeah, here.
Let me tell you something. Though Perry is gone, bro. Our group chat that we have, motherfuckers be winning money, man. Like, you bet just a small amount and you wind up getting a nice little bit of cheese. If it was me and I was a gambling person, I'd probably bet the under on everything and throw a couple of bucks a few different ways, because it just makes it better for you when they wind up, winning that. But Beto, really quick, your thoughts on
the Kansas City game? You know what I'm looking for? I'm looking for someone that knows Patrick Mahomes pretty well, in the name of Charvarius Ward. He knows him. He's practiced against him. He knows his tendencies, where he's looking, where he's not looking. And I got a feeling that he's going to have a great day. Our secondary is way better, in my opinion, than 2019 secondary. And I believe with that, with our secondary shutting down their receivers, plus they're missing a number 10 over there, that helps as well. I think that this game is very winnable, because we have the pressure in front, we have the greatest linebackers in the middle, and then now we have the secondary. They can play man. We don't have to play zone against them as much. We can play man with Charvarius Ward and Hufanga, and by then we'll have Ward back, Jimmy Ward, and then Gibson's playing the way he's playing, and Emmanuel Mosley. This game is very winnable because of our defense, in my opinion, even if Jimmy screws it up.
And I agree with you there, No Border Sports. That's exactly what we went back to talking about. If you think about it, if you throw Jimmy Ward in the slot and he's got Travis Kelce, he wants all the smoke. He wants every bit of that.
But he can handle it.
Oh, and he can handle it, guaranteed. Bashar, what are your thoughts on that?
So, for the record, I didn't really watch the Chiefs other than some highlights so far, but Beto kind of stole my thunder a little bit. It's all good, because I'm sure one of us was going to bring it up sooner or later about Mooney Ward. As far as Mooney Ward goes, I just love the addition. I think he's a beast. He's really, look at the secondary that we have. I mean, you mentioned, I think you mentioned the 2019 defense, right, Beto? I mean, I think this defense could be better than the 2019 defense. It looks like we're forcing more turnovers potentially, and this is probably the best secondary I've seen on the 49ers since the 1994 Super Bowl team. I strongly and firmly believe that. I just love this defense. Now, offensively, we got to get our shit together. Jimmy's got to look at this fucking film and see how many points he left on the field, just like Deon said, how many wide receivers were wide open, Ayuk, Debo, Kittle, whoever, and not worry about constantly just throwing little dump-off passes and praying and hoping that Debo turns into 57-yard touchdowns, because those are far and few between. So we'll see. We'll see if we get our shit together. We should win. I like our chances, but, again, we got to move the ball and put some points on the board.
There you go. Christian?
I mean, I think we're getting a little ahead of ourselves saying we're going to win the next two games, because technically these two teams are around the same level of the other teams we've lost to so far this year.
Christian bringing this down to reality.
And then Jimmy.
And we haven't won on the road this year either.
Jimmy loves to play down to the competition too. So
should be 4-0.
Well, here's my reasoning, Christian. This is what I'm saying. I watched the Cardinals and Panthers game. Let me tell you right now, there is a young man on the Cardinals. His last name is Allen. I don't know his first name. That is a cold-ass defensive lineman. He obviously has been training with J.J. Watt. He knows what he's doing. I don't know who the kid is, but from just what I saw that day, he looks like a superstar. But the reason that I feel so confident is because the Panthers' O-line is shit.
Okay.
The Panthers' offense is garbage. The only person they have on offense is fucking CMC. And have you seen our run defense the past couple of games? Not worried.
Sure.
Hey, Deon, that player is Zach Allen. Yeah.
Yeah, Zach. Hey, he is a cold defensive lineman, man. And he's definitely been hanging with JJ because he was swatting down passes. That's the other thing. If we get our hands up over Baker, easy money. What's going on, Ken?
So, saying we do R4-2 and go into Kansas City. Defense, I don't think will have that much of an issue. Mahomes looks really good when there's no pass rush. Hence, Sunday night, no pass rush, so you could sit back there and throw all day.
Mm-hmm.
Kansas City's defense is not good. Their secondary is fucking terrible. So we should be able to throw the ball. They have a good run defense, but their secondary is trash. Like, Tom Brady's going to stand back there and pass, and he fucking torched them most of the game. So there's no reason we shouldn't be able to possibly move the ball, but it'll be interesting because we should be able to get a crap ton of pressure on Mahomes, and that's when he starts making mistakes. And we're not the Chargers where we're going to miss 4 or 5 interception opportunities and lose the game, because the Chargers should have blew them out. How many terrible throws he made because of how much pressure the D-line for the Chargers put on him. The more pressure you put, the better chance you have of him making mistakes. So we have the defense that's meant to beat him, but it just really depends on Jimmy, and that's why it's hard to really know, because you'll get good Jimmy and bad Jimmy every other week. So it's really hard to know what's going to happen. This team's good enough to beat them and beat them handily, really. But it always depends on how good Jimmy can play each game. There's enough talent on offense and defense to kick this team's ass. We're a better team than them, but they have a much better quarterback. So that's really the big difference.
So I did say I was going to do something, and I'm going to do that right now at this point. See, Christian is being very modest and he's being very calm, okay? But what Christian meant to say was, this motherfucker Jimmy Garoppolo is about as inept as it gets at the fucking quarterback position. So you know what? I'm not sure we can whoop Patrick Mahomes' ass because I have a quarterback who misses wide open receivers and leave points on the motherfucking field. So we got a little ahead of ourselves, so we need to pump the brakes, slow the fuck down, and come back to reality and realize who the fuck is quarterbacking this team. And with that being said, we'll get back to our originally scheduled program.
You didn't say Dick Riders. So I was waiting for you to say Dick Riders.
It's a perfect segment.
Look. Now, see, Bashar, he done fucked around. And
he done gonna get it.
Look, let me tell you something. Here's one thing that I see that drives me absolutely insane. Why every time we play, is it a Jimmy Garoppolo love fest from the media and from commentators? Like he's fucking Tom Brady? All I hear every time is, Jimmy did lead him to a Super Bowl. Jimmy did lead him to the NFC Championship. Jimmy. Oh, sorry, I had Jimmy's dick in my mouth. Like, these motherfuckers really kill me. Montages and long soliloquies about what Jimmy just did when he made a fucking 5-yard throw that Debo just turned into a touchdown. Like, I don't understand.
What did I say last night in the chat, Deon, when that happened?
Oh, bro. Like,
I said there's that play where frickin' Debo bells out Jimmy, makes him look good.
Oh, yeah.
The stat line's going to look great. 57-yard touchdown.
Yeah, that was easily easily 6 the other way.
We seen Juice, man. Juice, and here's the thing. Juice actually is starting to get a little utilized, so that's fantastic because the Swiss Army knife that he is, he's underutilized as well. We paying him all that money to be a fullback, and they just basically, look, I do not, let me say this, let me preface my comments by saying this. I do not knock anyone's hustle. Get your money, okay? Get your money. Kirk Cousins, one of the worst quarterbacks in the fucking league to me. A lot of people love him. A lot of people say he's great. Let me tell you something. I said it before. I'll say it again, and I will hold true to this. Kirk Cousins will never win a Super Bowl, ever. He is not bringing Minnesota shit. The only thing he doing is robbing them motherfuckers, padding his stats, and getting paid, baby. So Kirk Cousins, Keep hustling, baby.
To be
Keep
fair,
hustling.
the Vikings just.
I mentioned this before the stream even started. You weren't here, Dion. I just I love the 49ers. Obviously, we all love the 49ers. So the last thing people can say is we're haters. We're not being overly optimistic about things. But I'm sorry, dude. I mean, can we fucking pump the brakes on all this Super Bowl talk that we keep hearing from 49er fans? Oh, Jimmy's gonna win us the Super Bowl this year. This is the year that we're gonna win the Super Bowl. Like, slow down, dude. We're 500 right now. We're 500. We're only went to week 4. I mean, let's wait till week 10, week 11, till we can finally get a real idea of who the Super Bowl teams are going to be. I think that makes the most sense. I mean, did they just start watching the NFL this year? It pisses me off when I hear our fan base say the dumbest shit I've ever fucking heard over my career of an NFL fan. Watch the fucking league and see how it fucking works. You're not a fucking Super Bowl team if your team is fucking 2-2.
The talking heads are putting it in the fans' heads, and then the fans are repeating it. That's the problem.
Oh, you mean dumbasses like Dante Whitner?
Yeah.
Jimmy's gonna take them to 18-0. I did.
Dude, I'm sorry, Dante lost me.
To be
Man.
fair,
Dante lost me.
To be fair, even Eli Manning.
I know you like to hit people, and I know you like to hit hard, but you must have got your head knocked a couple of times, one too many, because there's no way in hell you could beat last year saying Jimmy Garoppolo was garbage and all those things, and you turn around this year and now you're on his dick. I'm a little confused here.
Deon, Eli Manning mentioned it too on their cast yesterday that if Jimmy plays, I mean his was a lot, watered down compared to some of the other media guys, but he said if Jimmy plays like he did last night, the Niners can win a Super Bowl.
Well, that's because
But to be fair, Eli's makes more sense because it's watered down, because he said if he plays the way he did against the Rams, which is true. If Jimmy could play that decent.
Hey,
I mean, protect the football. He protected football, but I mean, that's about it.
He was an Alex Smith last year.
I got something to share with you guys.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
And this is something.
Brandon always finding some shit.
Yeah. This is something that we can all agree on. At least 2 out of all these media members know what the fuck they're talking about. And we're going to go with our boy, Bonte Hill.
Bonte.
There's so many people out there who want us to kiss Jimmy Garoppolo's ass and act like he had a great game last night. He played well enough to win a football game. There was only about 3 Jimmy O'Neill throws. There was a lot of screen plays. There's a lot of plays where he threw it behind the line of scrimmage or 5 yards past the line of scrimmage. It was nothing special, okay? So I'm not going to just give out flowers and candies and gold medals and Capri Suns because the guy went 16-27 and had a decent game. Why is that the norm now for 49er fans? We should want greatness from that position, whether it's Trey Lance, whether it's Nick Mullins, whether it's Jimmy Garoppolo. All these haters, I posted a little video last night. I'm happy about the win. Niners are 2-2. All I wanted for them is to be 4-4 by the bye week. But hell, we can get greedy now. You go to Carolina, you go to Atlanta, all of a sudden you're 4-2, you're feeling good with this defense. But all of a sudden these damn haters want to come down my timeline. It's like little gnats. They're like little mosquitoes. What do you guys say about Jimmy Garoppolo now? Jimmy Garoppolo didn't win that football game. Defense won that game.
Didn't I say that last night? Did I not say that last night?
I have been calling into the show for like the past couple of days, talking with these cats and starting to get to know them, and I like that. That right there tells you the truth of it. Because let me explain something to you people. You know Jimmy Garoppolo had, 200 some odd yards and 1 TD? That is not the greatest showing by a quarterback. But because us as fans know and understand who he is, we have come to just have to deal with the fact that that type of game is actually great for Jimmy. It's good for us because he didn't fuck it up. And that's the biggest issue. We have to sit here and endure him being here and know that we have to deal with the mediocrity that comes along with him. But anybody in the league right now that tells me that a quarterback that barely had 250 fucking yards and only had 1 touchdown is elite and taking somebody to the Super Bowl, you must be out of your fucking mind.
Did I not say all that, though, that he just said in the chat last night after the win?
Yeah.
But what I keep hearing on Twitter is I had a whole bunch of people tag me on this and say this to me. Oh, so you're not telling me that that Jimmy isn't better than Trent Dilfer? And like they make all these Trent Dilfer references.
Is way better.
Dude, but Trent Dilfer, at least he protected the football and he had a little bit of a deep ball. But
I was gonna say Trent had at least a little bit of a deep ball.
The league has evolved though. I mean, that's like 2000. That was the 2000 season in the year 2000 when Dilfer won with that bomb ass Baltimore Ravens defense. Now our defense is pretty badass. It's not determined how great it can be or how great it will be. Some people were equating it to the 85 Bears. I mean, let's be real here. Let's slow down, people.
Yeah.
But I think we're basing that off
to be fair, we played a lot
so
of bad
far.
teams. Like the defense is really good, but we have not played any really good teams yet.
That's okay. We'll see it against the Chiefs. But go ahead, Beto.
I think this defense is for real. I'm just saying.
You can only play those in front of your schedule, but I understand your point. I think we'll be truly tested against Kansas City to determine how good our defense is. But somebody said about not overlooking. I think it was Christian who said not to overlook the teams that were playing prior to Kansas City. Carolina doesn't really. I mean, anything can happen any given Sunday. But the team that I'm kind of iffy about is Atlanta. Atlanta is not a good team. They're not a good team, but they're sneaky, stupid.
They are sneaky.
They can pull out a win if we don't bring our A game.
They play hard.
Yeah, they play hard. Now they don't have Patterson; he's hurt, and they got their share of injured players too. But if we can get past both of those teams and come out with 4-2, I definitely think we can definitely beat those Kansas City Chiefs. People are giving them too much credit. Somebody said they lost to the Colts
because they're
not that good. Not that good. So
they should have lost. They should have lost to the Bucks if the Bucks fucking.
Truth, yeah, they should.
The Bucks should have won that game. In my opinion, they just
started slow. Yeah,
the Chargers outplayed them the whole game and still lost. They're not that good.
Did anybody catch the post-game press conference with Jimmy saying that they basically were sitting on that lead in last night's game? Basically, they didn't really.
I didn't see that, but it's not a surprise. That's how Kyle is.
Pretty much saying
Kyle has always been that type of person where he winds up in a situation where Kyle plays not to lose instead of to win. And this has been a knock on him for a very long time. And people seem to bypass that. It doesn't make sense. And you have to do that. You have to play to win and not to not lose. And that's the reason that a lot of people have an issue with Kyle because they feel like that's how he coaches. And typically, hey, man, you want to get him, you basically want to go ahead and get him, in there and tell him, hey, I need you to start coaching to win these games and stop coaching to be comfortable and relax because that's not the case. But then again, you can't really say it's hard to say that.
Jimmy's prone to bad decisions. So Kyle's worried that Jimmy's going to fuck up the game when they have the lead.
Exactly, and that's what I was about to say. It's hard to say that when we see all these plays where, like I said, there's about at least 21 points left on the field. Guaranteed.
I was waiting for you to do a Herm Edwards reference.
Yeah, you're not going to score every drive. It's not feasible. But at the end of the day, when you have these opportunities, make them happen. When Brandon Ayuk breaks Jalen Ramsey's ankles, see the play. And the one thing that I'm gonna get on Troy Aikman for is he keeps giving Jimmy a fucking pass, and I don't like the shit. Last night, Troy Aikman came out his mouth and said some of the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Well, as a quarterback, you don't see everything on the field. Your only job is to see everything on the fucking field, you idiot. What are you thinking? You can't just give him a pass like that. I know. You can't turn around and be like, oh, well, I don't want to make anybody mad, but you can't see everything. No, your job is to see everything. And at the end of the day, your job is definitely to find the person that's wide fuck open, butt naked. And then at the same time, the opportunity to cook Jalen Ramsey is when you never pass up.
I think that's what the reaction for BA was so bad. He really wanted to rub that in Ramsey's face.
Oh my God. And hey, look, man, he wanted a Mike McGlinchey moment. He wanted a Mike McGlinchey moment. McGlinchey ran his big ass all the way down the field. Typically, when they score a touchdown, he ain't going that damn far. He gonna take his ass to the sidelines and go chill out. But he ran all the way down the field purposely to slap Jaden Ramsey on the back and go, "You made that happen, dumbass.
Yep.
You made that." And the other thing from last night when they were interviewing Debo, I think it was Whitner or somebody else. There was a couple people when they were asking him about, looking into DB's eyes. Debo was like, "I don't look into their eyes no more." Because I know the first thing they think is, "Oh, shit, here comes Debo." Mm-hmm. And this is the truth of it, man. Like, it's a business decision to tackle somebody of that player. Like, it definitely is.
Yeah.
Hey, can I mention real quick, just for a fun note, that the best tackle the Rams made yesterday was by Bobby Wagner on that shaking across the field.
Yeah.
That was their best tackle of the game.
Hey, man.
That was his only tackle of the game.
Yeah.
How do they actually get to the fucking field? When do they try this shit? I never know.
I don't know how they pull it off.
I want to mention
pink flying all over the place. You get out of here, fool.
Yeah. Pink flare.
It does.
Pink flare.
Bobby Wagner. I give Bobby Wagner a little respect for that because he was like, "Y'all about to run around chase this motherfucker. Let me just lay his bitch ass out and call it a day. Ain't nobody got time for this. We got a game."
Let me help this fat security guard catch up with him.
Right? He's running.
He pulled his hammy.
Yeah. Well, one security guard fell on his own. He tripped on his own. He's like,
yeah.
So, you know what's got to be the most frustrating thing, I'm sure, for Kyle is it does seem like he himself schemes up their 30 points at least at a minimum.
Yeah, at a minimum.
For this offense per game.
At a minimum.
Because there's so many parts of the scheme where there's players wide open that we'd easily score 30 points in it at the minimum, and it's got to be frustrating for Kyle. Like I do give Kyle a lot of shit, but I feel like he does with his scheme 30 points on that to be put on that board, and it doesn't happen because Jimmy misses wide open guys all the time.
Yeah.
Well, Drake Greenlaw.
We're gonna be wrapping it up right now. But any last thoughts before we end it right here?
For me, just the defense continue to play as great as they have been playing. These next two games, as far as the offenses that we're facing, this should be a simple task for them. Hopefully we can go out and get ourselves a W.
The more you're going to find out. See, as you can see.
Fucking love it.
I love that meme. Debo on it.
Oh, man. For sure.
I like the one where they have freaking Devo's face on the guy holding the little kid, and
the original thing is funny in itself, but then they put Debo's face on it. But again, unsung heroes for the game. My game ball. If I was a coach, I'd give the game ball to the entire offensive line. There you go.
And then I love the Sean McVay one with Kyle too.
But I just want to say I'm really happy for what the O-line did because everybody doubted them going into that game. No Trent Williams. Obviously, Colton McKivitz. Now Colton McKivitz is freaking hurt. But Jalen Moore goes in there, and we all cringe before he steps on the field, and then he didn't do too bad. So is it sustainable? That's the thing. I'm pretty worried right now. I'll be honest with you guys about the O-line in the upcoming weeks.
I know I shouldn't say it, but maybe this could be the game where Jimmy goes 2 games in a row without any turnovers.
All right.
I like that.
Beto, anything else?
Oh, man, I had fun being on the show here tonight. Thank you for inviting me on, man. I love watching you guys do your thing. Everyone watching, make sure you hit that like button, man. Support these channels. They're working their ass off. I'm excited about this game. I want to see. Remember, Nick Bosa does not like that quarterback over there with the Panthers.
You don't like Baker Mayfield
from college. Their school's always, the flag and the whole thing. So I'm expecting to see Bosa have a big game against the Panthers, man. I think this game is this might be a game where they might bring in Purley in for some garbage time. Hopefully.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you right now. For me, that's what he's gonna be doing. Exactly what Bashar just did. Baker, come here, bitch. And he's just gonna sack the shit out of him, and it's just. I mean, it's unfair because.
Can you imagine Bosa on his way to Baker just slaps Sam Darnold just for standing there?
Right.
Slap him on the way.
Exactly. Don't tell
Oh
us
my
to-
gosh! Look at Joey said. Look at Joey's comment.
Joey's right. Joey's right.
Joey always finds a way. He always finds a way to come with some crazy shit. This is why we love Joey, man. Joey's always got the fucking jokes, bro.
Living up to his name.
Yeah.
Well, that would be a first for you, right, Christian?
Yeah. Basically. Bro, you should have saw him last freaking show. He was very quiet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So this is the most he's talked since the last show. So
it's
I'm
good.
proud of him.
I wish I saw you guys live. Not that I'm happy that Trey got hurt. Obviously, I'm mad, but I wish I saw you guys live on playback just to see your live reaction when Trey got hurt.
Oh,
yeah,
me and Deon both had our moments in that game.
Yeah,
we were pissed.
Well, hey,
the Seahawks. Yeah, we were pissed.
We appreciate everybody for tuning in. This has been another crossover episode with the Forever Faithful Podcast, Not a Gang Podcast, 49er Minded, Beto, aka Niner Sickness Podcast. Like and subscribe to all of these channels because if you don't, you're missing out on fantastic content. Beto is amazing. Bashar, amazing. Lefty, amazing. B-Dubs, amazing. And I'm just a regular motherfucker that's just in the middle of all this.
I didn't pay him either to say that. So
No, I don't get paid to big up people because even if I do, I'm still gonna tell you the truth about a motherfucker. I ain't gonna lie to you. I give you the real. But hey, we appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. B-Dubs, you got anything else?
Yeah, and before we head out, just to let you know, make sure you catch us this week. Me and Beto are doing Last Man Standing, where we do our weekly picks for each game. And we are joined by Celts Chronicles, Chris Polo, and Peter from Niner Fanatic Podcast. So make sure you catch us this week for our Week 5 picks.
Sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Cool.
Let's go.
Until next time, guys, go Niners.
Go Niners.
Niners.